Okay, guys. We are going to continue.
Opened Candyman's belly. Her hooves were shaky, but she bit her tongue with concentration as she tried to keep the scalpel steady. Candyman watched in horror. She couldn't feel it, but it made her sick to see her own body being cut open.
Now what? Asked Derpy. Now, start pulling out whatever squishy thing you see and toss it into this bucket, Pinky replied. I usually try to make jokes to entertain our guests, but you can do whatever you want.
Derpy smiled and chose an organ. It was Candy's liver. Derpy tugged hard, finally managing to rip it away, then held it up for Candyman to see.
Look, Candy, it's a lively liver,
she said, and Pinky giggled. Then Derpy pulled out the kidney.
Kind Kidney loves to go with lively liver to her house and play.
She tossed the two organs into the bucket.
But Sad Stomach is very sad because he never gets invited. But it's okay, because Bad Bladder will go with him to crash the party. Playful Pancreas hears their plan and tries to stop them with the help of Silly Spleen, and they go to warn the others. The Intestine Twins go over too to try and bring peace to them. They don't like fighting. Then Laughing Lungs comes over to see what all the fuss is about. Sad Stomach and Bad Bladder argue with everyone until they get a call from Helpful Heart.
Derpy grabs the still beating heart, but doesn't pull it out yet.
She says, "Don't fight. We should all be friends and play nicely together." And then everyone makes up and has a good time.
She pulled the heart out, and Candy slowly began to fade.
The end.
Pinkie Pie clapped enthusiastically.
That was great, Derpy,
she cheered.
Now what? Asked Derpy. Now we gotta skin her and pull her bones apart. It gets a little annoying, but it feels great when we're finally done.
Together they began cutting up the remains of Candyman. A little while later, Pinkie Pie took the tray of muffins from the oven and set them on the table in front of Derpy and Apple Bloom.
Wow, Miss Pinkie,
said Apple Bloom, taking a warm, fluffy muffin.
These look great.
They started eating the muffins, and Derpy giggled.
How are they, Derpy? Pinkie Pie asked. They are great, better than any muffin ever, she exclaimed. Can I help you bake more often? Of course, said Pinkie. Just be sure to keep our special ingredients secret, said Apple Bloom. Okay, said Derpy, and she helped herself to another muffin.
That was over. Oh, cool. That's normal.
Derpy was trembling slightly as she attempted to clean off a scalpel in the dirty sink. She was in the basement below Sugar Cube Corner, and was very nervous as she waited for her guests to wake up. Her shaking hooves accidentally caused her to drop the scalpel. "Oh," she said nervously. "Oh." She picked it up again, and then fluttered over to a sort of rickety operating chair. As Derpy set her scalpel on the little metal table, the pony in the chair started to stir. She had a raspberry-colored mane and tail, her hide was pale yellow, and her cutie mark was a single rose. Derpy watched her, biting her lip. "What?" said Roseluck, her eyes out of focus. Once she opened her eyes completely, she looked around quickly. Where am I?" Derpy took a step forward. "Hello," she said with a shy smile, her voice cracking. My name is Derpy, and you're going to... She furrowed her brow and took an index card from beneath her wing, reading it. "You're going to help me make muffins." She gasped with a wide smile. "Muffins!" Dropping the card, she danced on the spot, and then became a little shy again. "Muffins?" Roseluck said, and she tried to get out of the chair. She realized she was strapped down. "Hey, why am I tied to this chair?" "Well, Pinkie Pie says you need to be tied up or else you'd run away, and then I won't have muffins. I really like muffins." Derpy started looking at all her tools she had to work with. "Pinkie Pie and Apple Bloom like making cupcakes, but I'd rather eat muffins." "Why do you need me to make muffins?" asked Roseluck timidly. "Pinkie Pie told me to pick a number out of a jar, and your number came up," Derpy explained, her shaking hoof knocking a knife to the floor. "Oops! Oh no." "Derpy, what do you mean, number? I still don't understand." "You have the special ingredient I need," Derpy replied, picking the knife back up. "You're my first pony, though, so I'm a little nervous. Please don't be mad at me if I mess up." Roseluck began yelling for someone to help her, but no pony did. "Oh, don't yell! It makes me more nervous!" "Do you even know what you're doing, you retard?" Roseluck shouted, and Derpy flinched, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm going to start now," she said softly, and picked up her scalpel. Roseluck struggled, but her efforts were wasted as Derpy carved a messy circle around her cutie mark. Roseluck screamed and started sobbing. "Stop! Stop!" Derpy whimpered, her hoof jerking and accidentally cutting through the stem of Roseluck's mark. "Pinkie Pie!" she wailed, starting to cry as well. She sat down and covered her eyes, sniffling and curling her wings around her. Pinkie Pie suddenly came galloping down the stairs, her eyes wide with worry. "Derpy!" she exclaimed, running to her and kneeling down. Derpy's crossed yellow eyes tried to focus on Pinkie as they swam with tears. "Derpy, what happened?" "I," gasped Derpy, sobbing. "I did it wrong! I messed up!" Pinkie Pie turned and saw the split cutie mark. She smiled and faced Derpy again, stroking her mane. "It's fine, Derpy," she cooed. "It's your first time. No one's perfect." "But I wanted to do it on my own this time," Derpy wailed. "I'll help you today, and you can take another shot at it next time," said Pinkie Pie soothingly. "Is that okay?" Derpy wiped her eyes and nodded, giving a weak smile. "Pinkie Pie!" Roseluck shouted. "What are you doing? Why are you teaching her these things? She doesn't know right from wrong. She's too stupid to know what she's doing." Pinkie's expression became mutinous, and she suddenly ripped Roseluck's cutie mark all the way off with her teeth. Roseluck shrieked in pain, looking down at her bleeding flank. "Don't you dare call my Derpy stupid!" she screamed. "She is not stupid! You're stupid!" "Pinkie, she also said I was a retard," said Derpy with an angry pout. Pinkie Pie gasped and punched Roseluck across the face with her right hoof, giving her a black eye. "How dare you!" she bellowed
I gotta continue.
in her high-pitched voice. She ran to the bottom of the stairs and called up, "Apple Bloom! Apple Bloom!" The door opened again and the little filly came trotting down. "What's wrong? What happened?" she asked in an urgent tone. Pinkie Pie's murderous glare moved to Roseluck. Next to her was the teary-eyed Derpy, looking nervous, unsure if she should stand up. "Roseluck called Derpy a retard," said Pinkie Pie in an acid voice. Apple Bloom gritted her teeth as she slowly approached the trapped pony. "Well, that wasn't very nice," she said. "Apple Bloom!" she screeched. "You're part of this too?" "Of course I am," said Apple Bloom happily. "I've got to earn my cutie mark somehow." Roseluck started crying, and Apple Bloom took a look at Derpy's tools. "We need to punish you for hurting our sweet Derpy." She chose a small hand axe and held it up, ready to swing. "Wait!" cried Derpy, and the other three looked at her. Derpy stood up and slowly walked to Apple Bloom, taking the axe from her. "I'm going to do this on my own, like I said I was." "Derpy!" sobbed Roseluck as Apple Bloom and Pinkie Pie cheered. "Please, you don't know what you're doing!" "I know just what I'm doing!" Derpy screamed. "I may not understand so good, and I may not talk so good, but I do know that I am going to chop you into bits and make you into muffins!" She gave an evil grin and narrowed her crossed eyes. "Didn't I tell you I love muffins?" "You're going to kill me!" Roseluck cried, struggling violently. "Yep," said Derpy, and she swung the axe, chopping off her left arm. Roseluck screamed even more as Apple Bloom rushed forward with a bucket to catch the blood. "I'm not stupid!" Derpy swung again and chopped off her right ear. "I'm not a retard!" She threw the axe to the floor, breathing hard and grabbing her scalpel again. She trotted over to Roseluck's other cutie mark and managed to carve a rather neat circle around the rose. Roseluck was breathing heavily, sobbing still, her voice hoarse from screaming. "All right, Derpy!" Pinkie Pie cheered. "That was a perfect cutie mark cutting!" Derpy smiled and nodded. "Thanks, Pinkie. I'm glad to do good. I'm not nervous anymore." She gave a small dance, her hooves clacking on the cement floor, and she suddenly slashed a deep cut in Roseluck's chest. It started to bleed freely. Derpy gasped and covered her mouth. "Oh, sorry. I'm so clumsy. Let me make you better." She took a needle and thread and started sewing the wound shut very roughly. Roseluck winced, shaking her head back and forth desperately. "Oops, clumsy me. I messed up." Derpy cut the wound again, slicing the stitches, then started sewing it back up. "Whoops!" She repeated this process a few times before just giving up